Hey, sports fans out there, this is Robert with WTP Sports Dudes here live on this Sunday morning. Listen, I might not be as sad as I thought I was going to be with my Longhorns taking that L to my man FanDuel Zaya and my man T. Wan's Ohio State Buckeyes. I feel pretty good about how we looked yesterday, even though we made some mistakes. But I hats off to the Ohio State Buckeyes and that win they got against a really good Texas Longhorns team. FanDuel Zaya, how you feeling this morning, bro? I know you geeked. I know you geeked.
Nah, listen, bro. I told you, I don't think the outcome of this game would affect either one of these teams. Like, I just don't. Like, when it comes to like maybe the winner will get a better seeding when it comes towards the playoff because it's an added game on the resume. But I never felt like the loser of this game was going to be affected by this. It's all about conference play.
Yes, I agree with you. It's all about conference play. Um, let's talk a little bit about that game yesterday. You being an Ohio State fan, me being a Texas fan. What was it that Ohio State was doing out there that was sort of keeping Arch Manning from being able to complete some of the easy throws that he had at his disposal?
Well, I think it was a few different things. I thought the coverage, going back and rewatching it, I thought the coverage was outstanding. Igman Nosen had a day, I tell you. And of course, Jermaine Matthews caught that interception. I thought Matt Patricia did a very good job disguising coverages that we were in and giving Arch Manning a lot of things, different things to look at. So um, I think Arch Manning missed throws too. So it wasn't just all us. It was just some him just missing throws. You know what I mean? So it's just a combination of things. I Once Arch Manning kind of settled down though and get his feet under him, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah. I like what you said about Matt Patricia giving all these different looks. I think it really threw Arch Manning's timing off because his feet on the throws that he did miss, it was because the coverage was really good and Matt Patricia had schemed that thing up to where it threw his timing totally off and he was throwing late a lot because of the coverage and he was short arming a lot of those. But I think it was because he wasn't setting his feet for one, but I think it also goes to Matt Patricia and how he had his thing, his coverage disguised. When we threw the one long ball, and I thought that he might have been in position to get that throw, but that corner was already in position to get back there, and it was almost like it was a double team. So I think Matt Patricia did a really good job yesterday with his scheme that he had for Arch Manning, and their defense played really well.
You
How do you?
referring about, or was you referring about the interception he threw?
No, not the interception. Well, the
No,
interception was Arch Manning's timing was off there too, because he threw
no,
that ball
that
way
was
too.
not his fault. I'm sorry, that
He
wasn't his
threw that
fault.
ball too late. I thought, and then the receiver didn't come back too.
I think it was the receiver's fault. I feel like when you see when it's just a mental thing. Like when you see that the DB is playing the deep ball, you got to cut that route short. And I thought that the receiver he was supposed to cut. I thought he should have just did an out and cut that route short because it looked like a post. I mean a corner. It looked like a corner, but he
Yeah,
should have just cut the route short and did a out. And I feel like it would have been a connected ball. But that's some things that as a receiver, you got to help your quarterback out sometimes with. You know what I mean? Like if you see they playing it like that over the top, we was playing everything over the top. You got to cut that route short, and I think that's what Page Arch Manning was on in his thought process when he threw that ball, because that's what it looked like to me.
Yeah, and I like that observation that you make because when you look at it, it does look that way too. And I thought the receiver probably should have came back as well or cut that route off. But I think it was a good move by that defensive back to undercut it and get that interception, which I thought was really timely for them because Texas was starting to gain a little bit of momentum. They got stopped on that fourth and goal, and they were able to get Ohio State to punt, but then they got good field position, and then you get that throw right there that Ohio State intercepted, and I believe they went down and scored another touchdown to take a 14-0 lead. Go Blue 2025. I thought the wide receiver should have helped out more and come back to the ball. Yeah, I think I and Zay are saying the same thing on that one. He should have definitely helped him out on that route because I think they were thinking two different things. I think Arch was thinking he was going to go a little bit shorter than that, and I think the wide receiver probably thought he was going to throw it further down the field towards the sideline. But that's neither here nor there at this point. But that's a good observation. Go Blue 2025. How did you feel about your front seven in this game? Did they play the way you felt they should play, or were the way Matt Patricia was disguising things? He was doing things with more of a light box. We can't hear you.
Oh, my bad. I said, I was saying, I think they exceeded expectations for me for real. I thought they played outstanding. We struggled a little bit in run defense. Um, a little bit. I thought y'all's running game looked pretty solid. Um, the whole game for real. Um, but we didn't give up big plays. So I felt like we held up when we needed to held up. Like we was bending a little bit, but we wasn't breaking. Um, Depth is still an issue. But like as far as like getting after the quarterback, man, our pass rush looked great yesterday. You know, but when we see teams like Michigan, um, Penn State, I don't know. We gonna have to figure something out about that run defense because I wasn't too like I'm not gonna say I was down all the way on it, but it was too much rushing going on. You feel what I'm saying? We got to nip that in the bud a little bit. But I ain't gonna lie. Last year our rush defense started off slow too, so I'm gonna give it time, and I'm not gonna hit the panic button just yet. But I do see things that we can clean up in the rush defense. And as far as our linebackers looked different. Hey, they look all work. That looked like one of the best groups in the country, and I'm glad people got familiar with Arvell Reese. Arvell Reese had a monster day yesterday.
Yeah. I think they played really well as well. Um, I think when Texas went on that up tempo a little bit, where they couldn't substitute, they were able to find some rush lanes. Um, but like you said, whenever Ohio State had to get a stop, they had four fourth down stops. They were able to get the stops that they needed, man, and I think that was very key for them.
Hmm.
It really kept their defense engaged in that game. They didn't have any real serious mistakes, and I think that rush defense came to life, especially when it was fourth and two, the goal line stance. I think they really did a really good job there for the Ohio State Buckeyes. How did you feel about the offensive performance by Julian Sang yesterday?
Um, he missed some reads, but overall, I was satisfied with Julian. Um, he didn't look nervous. He looked like he was comfortable out there. I thought they should have cut him loose a little more and threw more on his plate. Um, yeah, and this is a good starting point for him. I feel like uh, I do. I think he's going to be a totally different player by season end. But I seen he could make every throw. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see if he was poised in the pocket. He looked at poise. I seen the things that I wanted to see from him. So I was very encouraged by his performance yesterday.
Yeah, I like what I saw out of him as well. Like you said, he was very poised. He missed a couple of reads for sure, And but I think overall he could have easily have been 17 for 20 for 150 yards in that game had he not had those three drops. The one drop by the tight end was one of the misreads that he had because he had him wide open. And I don't know if Texas probably watched that coverage, but in that circumstance, it was a maybe a fourth and what, one or two, and Texas might have thought they were going to run, and they was man up. It looked like on Jeremiah Smith, which even if it is fourth and one, you don't want to do that, especially when their defense was playing pretty good. But outside of that, man, I think he played really, really well. He was poised. He made all the throws that he needed to make. The one that I really liked the most was when he had to get that first down when he was throwing from his end zone to Carnell Tate when he got flushed out the pocket. I thought that showed that he was really poised and he knew he had to make a play right there, and he made the play in a big time moment. So I was impressed by that. Anything else that stood out to you about this game that you want to discuss?
Um, I think we covered everything. Well, y'all do got a little secret weapon on y'all's team. That punter is amazing. Y'all's
Yeah,
punter is amazing. I wish we had a punter like that, man. He kicking a 50 ball every time at least, minimum. And
yeah,
that's gonna help y'all with field position all year long.
yeah. We he did. He punted really well. We gonna need that too, man,
For
because
sure.
we last year our punting was horrible, and it put our defense in a lot of bad positions. In this game, um, our punter allowed us to put Ohio State in some pretty bad positions, which was good. Even though Ohio State was able to get those two scores on Texas, I think the punting was really, really good.
I think
I mean,
y'all had field position the whole game for real.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, when you look at it, hindsight is always 2020. But when you look at it, um, there was a lot of things that if certain things would have happened, you would have got to see something else out of Ohio State. And if something else happened, you probably would have seen something else different out of Texas. But we didn't. It went the way Ohio State wanted it to go, so they could still continue to be vanilla. And Ryan Day knew that. Listen, all we got to do is not make mistakes, and we're gonna be in this thing at the end, and then that's when we go win it. And that's what they were able to do when they stopped Texas on that fourth and goal. They were able to get the interception after and then get down the field and get up 14 nothing. Once it was 14 nothing, Ryan Day knew all I got to do was get this clock ran and we're going to win this game. Even though Texas had a few opportunities at the end, they didn't capitalize, and you got to give hats off to Ohio State's defense for that. Yeah, Mossberg, oh, my bad. Uh, Lil John is Grayson Littleton is a beast, man. He's gonna be really nice, man. I like the way he played, um, and I think he's gonna get more and more burn as long as he continues to play like that. I really like the way he played out there as a true freshman.
Hey, listen, uh, I like him too. If he keep on progressing, y'all might be able to move Gilbo back into the slot and put him out on the outside.
Yeah, I think they want him to stay in the inside at the star position though, because Gilbo is he doesn't cover that slot corner route as well as Grayson Littleton does. So I think that's why
Okay.
they're gonna keep Gilbo out there. Um, and Grayson does that pretty well. Uh, what was your thoughts on the game between Alabama and Florida State?
Hey, Florida State back, baby. Florida State look like they back. So, the main thing that stood out to me about Florida State is the defense. It has to be it was a defensive day in football yesterday though. I seen a lot of amazing defenses. Um, Florida State, I know Moss, he's still hyped up and geeked up. I wish he was up here to speak on it. But Castellanos looked good too. You know, and what's his name? Gus Malzahn.
Yeah,
I love his play calling. I thought he called a beautiful script the whole game. He put his guys in position to win, and I thought I thought they just outcoached Alabama, man. I thought they outcoached them. So hats off to Florida State pulling up the first upset of the season. You know what I mean? I expect them to move into the top 25 after that one for sure. You know what I mean? But this is what I'm real curious to see now too. As we progress through week 2, 3, and 4, I got to see Alabama again to make sure that game wasn't a fluke because we seen Alabama and they wasn't. We didn't think a lot of them last year. Well, I didn't, at least personally. I didn't think a lot of them last year. So I want to see if the board got a hold on this or if they just lost to a better team, man. Because really, I mean, in the summer when we was doing these streams and we were talking about any teams possible to drop off in the SEC, I kept saying Alabama, but the more it was building up, the more they was talking about this Ty Simpson kid. And I'm thinking they might need a quarterback switch over there in Alabama. They might need to go to the freshman Keelan Russell. You know, I don't know, man. I don't know. I got to see more, though. But hats off to that win. That was an amazing victory. They rushed that field. They made it look real beautiful out there after that game, too.
Yeah, when Alabama went up 7-0, I said, okay, what is Florida State going to do? Is Florida State going to crawl into that shell that they crawled into last year, or they going to come out here and say, listen, you going to score, we going to score? And that's exactly what they did. They out-physical Alabama.
Yeah.
Something that I didn't think they were going to be able to do, but Mossberg was telling us they was going to be more physical this year. The defense was going to be better, and I thought the offense played really, really well. And Donnell got a real good point. He said Florida State showed that speed still kills. And that speed that they had with that number 12, the quarterback being as jittery as he is, man, and still having some speed to him, the big power running game with the big number 32. I thought Florida State said, listen, we got to be physical. If we're going to be a championship caliber team, like the champions that have won in the previous years, you got to be physical. And I think that Gus Malzahn and the defensive coordinator, is it Tony White?
Tony White.
Tony White, I think they understood that and came in there and they got them boys playing really physical style of football, which I thought was the difference in that game because they was punching Alabama in the mouth. And even though Alabama was woozy, they was punching them again in the mouth. They wasn't letting up on them at all.
And I was impressed, man. Like watching Florida State, you know, my boys just that first drive, you know, you get the kinks out. That first drive is always, you know, you could tell a lot. And we were still battling through that first drive. I think we would have had them stopped if we didn't get those penalties. But hats off to the whole coaching staff, everyone that's a part of this Florida State team this season, getting the swagger back. Gus Malzahn, Tony White, Mike Norvell. That celebration should still be going on right now on that field after a tumultuous 2-10 season. And a lot of people not feeling that we'll be that same team in Nose Nation, but a lot of people didn't know what we would bring out this season. So I'm looking forward to each and every week, you know, moving forward. And as you guys know, I've been talking about my Seminoles, man. It's a different locker room. You know, you got an identity now. When you have that identity, I think that definitely helps the program. You've seen a lot of freshmen playing yesterday in key moments, making big plays as well. When you mentioned Cromar, man, I haven't. I mean, when I seen him come out on that field, I was like, I was excited. But his stature, that's a huge back, and you're talking about true freshman. You know, 18 years old, he's ready to go, and I'm just looking forward to it, man. So all those that was hating on me and my Seminoles, appreciate it, man. We took it, we rolled with it, and we rolled over on them Tide, and we looking forward to every week from here on out, man. And you see I got them Bengals on. Y'all already know what it is. This Sunday, we getting ready for next Sunday's kickoff as well. It's good to see y'all this morning.
KT has a good question right here that I want us to discuss. He said, what does that say about the SEC? And, you know, I'm always pushing that the SEC is a really, really physical conference. I'm wondering if it's just Kalen DeBoer, because his Washington teams weren't that physical.
Yeah.
His Alabama team the last 2 years has not been a physical team. Is it the SEC is falling off physically, or is it just it's a Kalen DeBoer thing?
Yeah, I would lean more to a DeBoer thing because I done seen some physical SEC football so far this season. Just in the 2 weeks with the 1 week we had, Auburn looked at physical. Who was it? Tennessee looked at physical. I'm just saying, like the teams that I caught a glimpse of, they looked at physical. LSU played a physical. Man, if they didn't play a physical game, you can't. Did you watch LSU?
Yeah, you were watching football. If you ain't seen,
bro.
Texas was physical. That was a very physical football game that we played against Texas. So I see the physicality. I seen physicality from Bama. I think they just got out physical. That's the thing.
I would agree with you. I think it might be a DeBoer thing. The one thing I noticed coming into this weekend with the game, this DeBoer's, this is his go. These are his guys, and the question is going to be, is this guy's physical from here on out? Nothing against Alabama, great team, the whole nine when it comes to that university, but it is is the tide changing? Is the tide rolling over on that talk of the physical side? Because that's something we're not used to seeing. We're used to seeing a physical Alabama team. And shout out to my Seminoles, man, just being who they are and having that swagger, that home crowd, and just continuing to fight and be even more physical throughout that game, which we've seen. So it's going to be a lot of questions about that, I think, throughout the year. And when you think about the SEC, I think all the talk from last year leading up into this year, and we spoke on it, it's a lot of big games this first weekend when conferences are going against the SEC. We're going to see how tough the SEC is. We're going to see how tough other conferences are. There's going to be a year where we could really look at every conference as a whole. We see the Big 12 standing stout. We see the SEC having some troubles, but we see LSU being as physical as they are. You said the other team. So there's going to definitely be something to look at throughout the season as well.
Yeah, for sure. What was y'all's thoughts? Oh, go ahead.
And man, listen, the SEC is on the forefront right now. We got South Carolina and Virginia Tech today.
Yeah.
The SEC need a win because don't let South Carolina drop that game and then we come around and roll around next week and Michigan beat Oklahoma. We're gonna start looking at what's y'all's commissioner's name? Y'all's conference commissioner?
I can't even think of mine.
It's not Sankey. Sankey is
Sankey.
Big 12, right? Is it Sankey?
Yes. Yeah, that's the SEC dude, right?
I think so.
I think that's his name. But it's starting to look scary because y'all demanding these 4 automatic bids. That's what all the talk was about, getting 4 bids in. But teams is gonna be able to go back to the table like, hey, listen, man, they lost all these non-conference games to boom, boom, boom. That is one at ACC. Good thing that LSU got that win against Clemson. And that kind of saved the day for the SEC, low key, in my opinion. But if they start rolling out a lot more of these losses in these non-conference matchups, man, it's gonna get real sticky for the SEC, and we're gonna have to go back to the drawing table. And I thought the ACC bowed out of the race a little too early when they was like, all right, we'll just take our 2. ACC and the Big 12. But listen, man, if they keep dropping these games, bro, we got to go back to the table.
Oh, I agree. What's your think about Donnell's statement right here? The SEC has been showing a breakdown when it comes to discipline. They are making some emotional plays that's causing some game impact penalties.
Yeah, I totally agree. If we thinking about it makes me think. I think Zay, when we talked about the Alabama Georgia game last year, I think Georgia had some penalties in that game. Even the Alabama situation last year with those 2 top players, I think Donnell has a great point. we seen yesterday in the Alabama game. Alabama had penalties that hurt them, even on that drive where they was down the touchdown when we made that drive to go up by 2. I mean, it still hurt throughout that game, and that's just a great point. A lot of discipline, a lot of new coaching changes as well. With different position groups in the SEC. So that's a good point. It's something to look at because, man, you definitely got to have a hold of your program on the discipline side, and that's one thing I will say I like about Florida State. And I might just be talking a little biased with this, but having Tony White and Gus Malzahn, you got to have some guys that people are relating to that you can lead and listen to. So that's just like in this group. We listen to you, we listen to Uncle Parlay and everybody else because we know what that brings, the chemistry. So the output that you get from that. That's how I see that exactly.
Yeah, and Steve Sarkisian always says it's okay to play with emotion, but don't play emotional because your emotional feelings get in the way and you do something boneheaded and you mess around and give up a penalty that you should. In case we had an opportunity to get off the field and Colin Simmons, which I think they frustrated him a lot in that game because they was putting the tight end over there by him and they was chipping him and they was keeping him from getting any direct one-on-one rushes, which was a brilliant game plan. And on that penalty that he got that extended that drive that they scored on the first time, you just got to be more disciplined to get your hands off that face mask and definitely not rip the guy's helmet off his head. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. You got to play with emotion because you want to be aggressive and you want to play hard-nosed football, but you can't be emotional and taking this thing too personal to where you make those penalties that hurt your team. And KT is in agreement with you, Zay, when it comes to those SEC non-conference games. They got to win a large majority of those games in order to be able to serve as one of the power conferences. Because if you're going to play non-conference games and you losing them, then that says something about you as a conference. And so that's a really good point that Zay and KT is making about the SEC losing some of these games in the non-con. That's why I said the nose, they running the table. They're running the table. Listen, the way they looked yesterday, they're going to be tough to beat. Now, of course, there's going to be some games that are going to be played and teams are going to be able to see more stuff on film and they're going to be able to scheme up some things to try to slow them down. But I think that they got a really good system there. I think that they need to maybe get Castellano maybe another weapon that he can throw to down the field, maybe a tight end or something. But as far as the running game, as far as the screen game, as far as the reverse game, they got all the talent they need there. I just hope that they can give Castellano a release blanket guy like a tight end that can make some things happen. I think that really set them off.
Hey, listen.
I just had to hear that song with it, man. My bad, Zay. I just had to hear that fight song, man.
I'm giving Gus Malzahn the Coach of the Day award for you, man. He listen. He's a monster, bro. And Gus Malzahn been around for a long time. He was at Auburn when they went to the national championship.
Yeah, I told you.
So he can coach, man. He can coach some football, bro.
And the thing I just
didn't think they was going. I didn't think y'all was gonna be able to put it together that fast. That's all.
I go back to thinking about the spring game. So many things leading up to the season. I think not having a spring game, them great renovations, that $200+ million investment, all of these things leading up into this game was the greatest thing because of the fact that nobody was able to see and know what we was doing. Everybody was optimistic. Now it's over. Y'all see what we doing. Y'all know what Gus Malzahn do. He runs the ball. And with that Auburn team, and that, I think about when we played Auburn when Gus Malzahn was there. Gus Malzahn still ran the ball with a heavy load, and he had a quarterback in Marshall. People forget about that could throw the ball and he was very athletic with his feet. So he's knowing what he's dealing with, and having Castellanos having this new and improved offense. And let me not mind you, he had weapons of mass destructions with that Auburn team, young, some veterans, and this was before the portal and things like that was going on. So, to have him having that identity, continuing to run the ball, having those trick plays, because he tricked me a couple times, and that was especially with that reverse. I was loving it, and when the defense was flying all over the field, like I said, seeing Jackson, seeing Lyons, seeing Jones, one of our senior leaders who we finally found somebody that's going to rush that passer with Jackson. I think this Florida State Seminole defense, I would say in that third quarter, we turned the tide to a swagger of the way Florida State played football on that defensive side. And I think offensively, that run game is going to be something special. And I told people about Boggs. You see how big he is. He's going to be a weapon. And I think as the season progresses, from seeing how we played yesterday, man, I'm so much more excited for the season.
I love that number 0 on your defense. That's
little. I told you, that's Mr. Rover.
He's nice. I like him.
He's a helmet thrasher. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I don't know, man. It's like I said, I've been having that different feeling. And all of a sudden now I'm seeing so many different national championship YouTube videos is circulating since yesterday. So don't come and jump on the bandwagon now with Florida State. Where were you when we were 2-10?
Slow down, though. I'm
slow down. I ain't gonna slow down because it don't stop when it comes to these no's after that big win. It's only getting started. And I told you, after we get this big win, I felt that it could really catapult our season into a different stratosphere. And I'm gonna stick with it. And then I said what I said about last night. If Clemson loses to LSU, look out. Florida State could possibly run this table and go undefeated.
Now, I can say, now that I've seen y'all do have a very manageable schedule. I can say that.
Yeah, Donnell's pointing out that Julian Staines' stats yesterday was 13 of 20, 126 yards. That might be 65% completion percentage, though, Donnell, instead of 74.5. Now, I know his passing rating was higher than 74.5 too, but he could have easily have been 16 of 20 because he had 3 drops, 3 passes that definitely should have been caught for at least 150 yards. But if he would have read that one drop to the tight end right and hit Smitty down the seam, that could have possibly been him over 175 yards. So he played really, really well.
Smitty had a bad day yesterday, man.
I think sometimes, man, guys can. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not Smitty, so I don't know. But sometimes when guys get all this, just let kids be kids and let them play. I hate the way the media be having guys all and all these pats on the back and all these great accolades and all this great talk. Let them just go out there and play. I know the media got to do what they got to do to get clicks and likes, but let these kids play, man.
He did look like he was pressing. He looked like he was pressing.
Yeah, he looked like he was pressing for sure. Yeah, for sure. And Spencer Manning was 17 for 30, 56 passing percentage and 1 interception. His stats could have actually been better too. He should have been more like 22 or 30 for maybe 200 plus yards. But he threw a lot of bad balls, at least 5 to 7 bad balls to wide open guys. But that's neither here nor there. That's when you go in an environment like the Ohio State University, the shoe, you're gonna have your rhythm off. And I thought Matt Patricia did a good job of throwing off his rhythm and timing with the coverage that he had and the looks that he gave him. And that's hats off to Ohio State for that. The thing I did like about Manning, though, was he was able to get us a couple of drives to get us in the red zone to possibly tie the game, or if we went for 2, possibly win it. So when he had opportunities to get Texas back in the game, because Ohio State took the air out of the ball, I think he was able to do that. So that's a bright spot for Manning, even though he did miss some throws out there in that game yesterday. But hats off to Ohio State and their game plan and Matt Patricia and Hartline. Hartline, I thought, called a really good game, man. When they needed to get a first down or they needed to keep the chains moving, he played really good complementary football because their defense played really, really well.
Yeah, listen, he played with bad field position the whole game with a first-time quarterback, and them 3 drop passes throughout the game hurt the rhythm. And I still thought he called a beautiful game. So hats off to Brian Hartline.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Then another thing that I liked that coming out of that game is the verdict was out on Texas offensive line. I thought they played really, really well against Ohio State defensive front. I think they played well enough to let me have confidence that the offensive line is not going to be an issue.
Yeah. That's one thing I will say, like watching that Ohio State Texas game, like a lot of people gotta remember, like, you know, UNT says so many times, like that championship experience, even though those guys are young, these are their first starts, that championship experience, you could see it, you know, paying off. And for Texas, you know, having one starter come back on the line, but they line looked really good. So I think you looking at 2 teams that's definitely going to be in the playoff, 2 teams that can still make a run for the national championship, and 2 teams that's only going to get better as the season progresses. And you know, one thing I think a lot of people, I mentioned it yesterday, they got to really look at this. Julian Sand came in a year highly touted like Manning, a year after. This is going to be a comparison. We're going to say it here on WTP Sports Dudes first. Let's get the comparisons going on. Let's see the circulation about this talk, because I think it's going to be something that they start to talk about as the season progresses too, based on all the hype for Manning coming into this game. And you mentioned it was at the shoe. It's not an easy place to play in, man. I'm an athlete, and when I seen the way it looked, I said, man, you got to make sure you got some Bluetooth headsets in or something, because you got to block that out. That's a different place to play in, and it's tough. So got to give credit to that shoe, their crowd, the stadium, the fan base, the whole nine when it comes to that as well.
Hey, you know what about Manning? I thought Sark helped him out a lot with moving the pocket a lot. He moved the pocket a lot in that game. I mean, rollouts, misdirections, all types of stuff. So I'm telling you, Manning gonna be all right, bro. He's gonna be all right. He's gonna be just fine. They just got to work on his mechanics a little bit more, because that's why he was missing throws. He wasn't following his mechanics. But I'm not saying that he don't got the mechanics. I think it was just an environment. They said that was the loudest Ohio State stadium has been ever yesterday.
It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Let's turn the tables and talk about that LSU Clemson game. LSU went into the other Death Valley and won that game 17-10. This was a really physical game, in my opinion, man. To be able to hold Clemson to only 10 points, and granted it's the first game, but they were on their home field. And I was really impressed with LSU offensively, defensively. Nussmeier at the quarterback position. What were your thoughts on that game?
Well, Houston, we have a problem. You know, Clemson was my number 1 team coming into the country, and they look like they have absolutely no run game whatsoever. You cannot be one-dimensional on offense. Losing Antonio Williams in the first quarter didn't help. Man, I mean, their defense is cool. The defense looked good. That offense got problems, though, man. I'm telling you, you can't be one-dimensional. If people know they can go in the game with a light box and play coverage, it's a problem. You know what I mean? Cade Klubnik can only do so much.
Yeah. What's good, nephew? What's good? Appreciate you joining in as well. I feel the same way. Like, you know, for me watching the game, I was more wanting to see what Clemson was bringing to the table. Of course, I was still hyped up myself about our win, but locking into the game, the physical side of it, but seeing Nussmeier and that LSU team continue to fight And like you said, the physical. Not having a running back for Clemson is going to be tough in the ACC. They got to find that run game because people will pin their ears back and go find Cade. And if he running for his life more so than handing that ball off and making passes, as we know he could do, I think it's going to be tough for Clemson. And seeing the way my boys is moving around and getting after that run game, it's just something to look at. I think LSU might have showed the world something, but I think it's the first game of the week of the season, so it's a lot that can be worked on and a lot to improve as well. So I'm not counting Clemson out. They're not ranked number 4 for no reason, but I still think they got to answer those things quick because this is a season where teams are trying to get ahead fast. And if they see a way they could get ahead and adjust and it benefit them, that could be something that's not good for the opposing team.
Yeah, I think their defense played well enough to get them to win. But like Zay mentioned earlier, and we even talked about this on stream before, we didn't know what they were going to look like at the running back position. We didn't know what they had there. Were they going to even have a running game? And that was our biggest question mark for them because we didn't know who was going to be their running back. But we thinking, oh, it's Clemson. They plug and play. Yeah, they're going to have a running back. But yesterday, we did not see a running game out of them. And then when the wide receiver went down for Clemson, that really sort of changed the dynamic for them. But I think LSU played much better defensively than I thought they would play. They played really, really well, man, defensively. And I think that when they get their opportunity to face Alabama, if Alabama ain't got their stuff fixed, LSU might be that third best team in the SEC. Up there with Georgia and Texas. Of course, Georgia is the team to beat because they've been running the SEC for the last maybe 4 or 5 years. But I think if LSU can continue to play well and they get the coaching that they need, I know postgame don't want to hear this about Brian Kelly, but he was able to get a really big win yesterday over Dabo Sweet.
Yeah, I think he kept his job for sure. That was, something that we talked about, him making sure he solidified certain things this season as well to keep yourself off that hot seat. You're in a prime position, at LSU, and when you have a quarterback as a noose, they look at to win the Heisman, possibly to be in that Heisman race. You definitely got to win big games like this, and to get a big win like this in Death Valley, Tiger over Tiger. One Death Valley bigger than the other. That's just a big win for Kelly and that LSU coaching staff and team to start the season. So, a lot of things to look at with this SEC moving forward. And they got another big one, as we know today, with that Virginia Tech team against who is it they playing against, Zay?
South Carolina, Virginia Tech at 3 o'clock. Let's see this comment that KT said. He said the physical is cool, but both teams show they have offensive problems. And what I want to say to that, KT, is I'm saying Clemson did show me that they ain't had no run game yesterday, but I also don't want to underestimate the power of the defense.
Yeah,
we could be moving forward, and Clemson can start popping good runs in the running game. And I mean, I thought LSU's offensive line didn't play the best yesterday, but at the same time, them were 2 good defenses. So it's the same thing in the Texas-Ohio State game. These are 2 top 10, top 5 caliber defenses that we're looking at. So the offense, it's week 1. The offense, it's always going to be behind early in the season. And I just want to highlight that too, because these teams can definitely, they got the athletes on offense. They got the athletes. So I don't think it's a talent thing. I think maybe it could be a week 1 thing as well.
Yeah, I think they both got some things that they need to figure out. But they went up against 2 good, really, really good defenses. So I think offensively, they're going to get some things figured out. But I do agree they do got some problems that they need to fix. And if that wide receiver for Clemson can't go, they got to find a guy that can come in there, man, and fit that void. Otherwise, if they don't get that running game going, they might be in a little bit of trouble going forward. But they don't have a huge schedule either. So
Nah,
they
they
got a
don't.
chance to bounce back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
big time.
he got a hamstring injury. He probably be out a few weeks.
So Donnell,
Yeah,
LSU showed me when they in need, they have a huge receiver that's hard to stop, and he is a bullet.
that's their tight end, but they spread him out wide. So
Yeah,
that
that
dude is
boy
tough,
big.
man. That
Yeah,
dude is tough.
and they said that was one person they feel will definitely help. Newsmeyer this year having the receiving core they got come back because I think one of them is a transfer. I ain't really look at that receiver core like I should have, but that's going to be a big point of emphasis. Him finding his tight end, he can spread out like Winslow from Miami, KT's guy years ago, so he can definitely give people matchup problems. Appreciate you tuning in as well, Adam Hall. We see you, Jocks Tigers in there. We see you.
I thought Brian Browning played really, really well to transfer from Kentucky. I believe he played really, really well yesterday too. Uh, I thought that was a real controversial reversal on the touchdown that I thought he had
Yeah,
in that corner. I thought that was pretty. I mean, the letter of the law, how it's written, it's an incomplete pass. But I'm thinking to myself, this guy has control of it. He's crossing the goal line to out of bounds. Now he's out of bounds. It should be done right there, right? But
Yeah.
no, he got to go to the ground and all this other stuff. And I thought that should have been a touchdown. But of course,
yeah.
the way the rule was written, it was an incomplete pass.
And I was looking at it, and I thought he like his body or his knee like nipped the pylon after he went across, and I'm like, he touched the pylon, so it should be a done
It
deal
should be
right
done
there.
right there, right? You would
You know
think
what I
it should be
mean?
done right there.
Facts.
Man, I see you in there, Deswan. Good to see you in here. All them summer highlights, watching our team in the scouting department, watching the renovations. Appreciate you giving me that availability and time to just come down and talk our Seminoles Nation, talk our Nose Nation, and the outlook on the season. We always felt that we would get this week one, and we got Jaden O'Neal. I know you've seen that. I'm gonna have to come through so we could talk about this big week we got ahead to continue on this Seminole train this season as well.
Hey, Rob, before you move on to the games that we got on tonight, I just want to mention like we haven't been hearing nothing about Georgia. We haven't been talking about Georgia. And they're just flying under the radar.
Thumper on last night.
Yeah, I mean, granted, be Marshall, but I don't know if any of y'all caught that game. They look like the regular Georgia teams
They look good.
we've been used to. You know what I'm saying? They look fully reloaded and restocked. So that's going to be a hell of a SEC race.
I totally agree. I'm glad you mentioned that. Parlay Poe mentioned something about him. He spoke about him, and we feel that Georgia team is. We know they reload, and we always say and think about just in the last now 5 years when it comes to the national championship. If you get two of them, we gotta respect you. Even through a season that people didn't know who you were, not being yourself, going through the quarterback change, but putting up 45 points against anybody in college football is a sight to see.
Hey, I hear a rooster. I hear a rooster over there in your background, man.
Oh yeah, it's
You got a
like
rooster?
man, it's like 6 roosters on the block, bro. Literally 6 roosters. I get up to them roosters calling. Sometimes I'm up before them.
Nah. It sounds like they wake you up. You don't wake the rooster
Nah,
up.
I ain't gonna lie. I've been up. I beat them up this morning.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you were so excited, huh? You couldn't sleep.
I couldn't sleep, man. I slept about 4-5 hours. 4-5
Hey
hours.
man, listen, this is the best I ever slept after a Texas Longhorns loss, bro. Usually I don't get no sleep, but I was okay with the loss yesterday, man. For some odd reason, I think we're gonna be all right. But Georgia is definitely the team to beat in the SEC. Even if they don't seem like they're the best team with the most talent, with the most offensive production or whatever, they're still the team to beat. Kirby Smart is still the man of the SEC. Let's go to today's games that we're going to see today. The first one is up. Virginia Tech is plus 7.5 at South Carolina. So, of course, South Carolina is giving Virginia 7.5 points. The over and under is 51.5. How do y'all feel about this game?
Whew. Upset alert. Upset alert. You heard it here first. I'm calling the upset, bro. I think Virginia Tech is getting a dub today, man. I mean, listen, I've always spoke about Kyron Drones. I've been saying, like, man, if he could just put it all together. It's his senior season, man. Listen, you sure the game at South Carolina, though? I thought it was in Virginia Tech.
Oh, no, it says South Carolina.
Okay. Well, I'm still picking Virginia Tech, man. Listen, I think it's a lot of kinks that teams be having to figure out week one, and this is absolutely the type of game that if South Carolina can make a few mistakes and Virginia Tech can capitalize off of them, they can walk out of there with a win. I think it's going to be under that 51.5. I don't think we're going to see a lot of points. We haven't really been seeing a lot of points in a lot of these big-time matchups. So, I'm taking Virginia Tech though, man. I think they gonna have a handful to deal with. Lenore Sellers, of course, but if they could just slow him down a little bit, I think that's gonna be the edge that they need.
Yeah, I think that I'm gonna pick South Carolina at home to win this game. I don't know if they're gonna cover that 7.5 though. I'm not messing with that, but I think they will win this game at home. They got a lot to replace on their defensive side of the ball. Hopefully that team has some players in the back that can come in there and fill those voids that they lost to the NFL. But I think South Carolina has enough with Lenore Sellers. If he stays healthy in this game, I think he can will his team to a win over Virginia Tech. But Virginia Tech is one of those teams that we've been talking about. We want to see what they can do, and this is the first game they're going to get to where we can see what they can do. So hopefully they have a good showing and we can get a good gauge on this Virginia Tech team. But I think South Carolina is going to win it, but not cover that 7.5.
Man, this got me thinking when you say if he could stay healthy in this game. Virginia Tech coming out hitting. I'm going ACC. I'm taking the Hokies. I'm taking Drone. I think Virginia Tech is a team, kind of like my Seminoles in a way. People don't know what they're going to be like this year. Even at the quarterback position, knowing what they have, they just don't know what they're going to get. And I'm thinking about how they played even at Miami last year. This Virginia Tech team is scary. I'm going ACC over the SEC again this weekend in another upset. You called it, Zay, upset alert, and I'm going with the Hokies out of Blacksburg, Virginia, home of Mike Vick, and doing what he do. Hokies by a touchdown.
Desjuan says, at Robert, how do you feel about Manning's performance? Is he all hype? I think he had a fair performance. He missed several easy throws that you would expect for him to make. Do I think he's all hype? I think he's getting a little bit too much hype. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't played enough football to warrant the kind of hype that he has. He's a guy who has a really unique skill set. Not unique because there's a lot of players who can run and throw the ball. Strong arm. I think he just went up against a really good Ohio State defense with a really, really good defensive coordinator who got athletes that he could put and confuse a quarterback. And I think that's what Ohio State did to him. He has 3 home games in a row before he has to go to the Swamp. In these 3 games, we're going to get to see if he can correct some of those jitters that he had. He's not setting his feet, not turning his hips, throwing sidearm, all that stuff. He got to get those things fixed. And I'm quite sure his uncles are going to be in his ear saying, listen, you got to keep your discipline when you in that pocket. Now, as far as his pocket presence was really good. He was able to go to all of his reads. The thing was Ohio State's defensive coverage, man, had him just thoroughly confused, man, a lot of times. But then when Steve Sarkisian schemed something to a guy that would be wide open, he didn't have his feet ready. He didn't have his body ready. He didn't have his hips turned to make the correct kind of arm angle throw. And a lot of times he was sidearming stuff, missing throws. Then he was dropping some dirt balls. So he missed at least 5 to 7 wide open throws that Julian Sain was making, and he was not. So I don't think he got it's too much. Well, it is too much hype, but I don't think he's overhyped. I think he's going to be okay, and we're going to get to see that later on down the road when he plays against Florida in the Swamp. Then he got to play against OU in the Cotton Bowl, and then when he got to travel to Athens to face Georgia towards the end of the season, then we'll really know if it's hype or not. So, because he's going to have to make some things happen against Florida, Oklahoma, and then when they travel to Athens to play Georgia. So right now, I'm going to say he's getting too much hype, but I think he's still a really good quarterback.
Man, Dez, I think he overhyped. They say he was a generational talent. They just be throwing these words out like that. He's not generational. He could be a hell of a quarterback, but he's not a generational talent.
Let's go to the game that we got later on tonight. We got number 6 Notre Dame. That they're giving up 2.5 points at Miami. They're giving them Miami 2.5 points. The over and under is 49.5. What's your thoughts on this game? Can Miami play like we seen Florida State play yesterday and take down number 6 Notre Dame?
I think it's very possible.
Who you got, Morris?
I'm going Notre Dame.
You got airplanes, you got roosters, you got everything.
Yeah, I'm outside, man. You know, feeling good, feeling that football season weather. Airplanes going over. I definitely got, Dad said, the Catholics versus the convicts. I'm going with the Irish. I don't know. It's something different about this Notre Dame team. Miami, nothing against them. They revamped and reloaded definitely in the secondary and that receiver position. But for me, seeing Notre Dame and knowing what they bringing back out to the field with a Heisman candidate and Jeremiah Love is going to be tough to stop from the start. We all know that. So I'm taking Notre Dame, and I've been speaking on this since this has been a conversation of our talk, this Notre Dame-Miami game. I'm going with the Irish.
Man, I'm going Miami at home. I think they got the more experienced quarterback, and that's what I'm rolling with. I think their offensive line is going to be really, really good. So my concern is, will Notre Dame be able to put? I think this Miami offense is going to be able to put up some points. I struggle with thinking that Notre Dame will be able to keep up with a first-time starter. I do think it's going to be a good game, but I think Miami win this game real convincingly. I think they win by 10 points.
I think the thing that concerns me about Miami is I don't know what their defense is going to look like. And one of our buddies that we talked to, who's a female that we work with, she said Miami had a whole bunch of tickets still available for this game, which makes me wonder, why aren't these Miami fans packing this stadium like Ohio State will pack their stadium and have that 12th man advantage, man? And I think that they did not do that. So maybe by game time, maybe all the tickets will be sold and they got a packed crowd. But they're going to need a packed crowd against Notre Dame, a team that's starting a quarterback for the first time, but their running game is going to be really, really good. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I don't think they're going to reach that 59.5. But we got to see what Carson Beck looks like. Does he have the talent around him to win this game? And will Miami's defense be much better than it was last year?
I'm checking on these tickets. Hey, I'm checking on these tickets real quick, y'all. Let me see what the tickets look like.
I'm gonna say the Irish luck stops the hurricane from terrorizing a town. That's what I'm gonna say. Irish win. Because I've been coming up with some crazy little writings, and I wrote everything down over the picks over the weekend. I did pretty good on my picks. Some of ours, like I lost that game, of course, but I think the UCLA Utah. Other than that, I think I would have been good. Utah and the Longhorns, but I'm cool with that, man. I feel the same way. I think with Arch too. I know you spoke on him. I just think now that he's played against this Ohio State University, it's real, bro. This is college football. This is no game. You got to come out here. You got to study. You got to work hard. You got to play. I'm not a fan of his sidearm, though. I'm going to just put that out there. I'm not a big fan of the way he sidearms, because when he sidearms and he's escaping that pocket, how they moved him out, I think them sidearms, he definitely should have been able to complete those passes. But in the long run, I don't know. For me, being a fans that we are, I'm going to just look and see how Arch and Julian's play is throughout the year, respectively, understanding you're going to play some teams is maybe better than the other, but I'm going to look at the whole season portfolio. And I think we can start something with that. That's going to give a lot of people some talk to look at.
Yeah, my nephew in here in my ear. If that Texas loss wasn't a bad loss. You know what I'm saying? They played really, really well defensively. They held an Ohio State team to 14 points, and if we can hold anybody to 14 points outside of this Ohio State team, we will probably beat them. But I think that we played really, really well. It was a game that we lost. We had opportunities. Ohio State's defense came through when they needed to. And Texas defense, they gave up 7 too many points in this game. But I thought it was a really, really good defensive play game. And I think that if Texas continues to play this kind of defense going forward, they're going to be in every single game. And most games, they're going to win. They're not going to lose, because most teams ain't going to be Ohio State. So I think Texas is going to be all right. We just lost to a team at home that played better than us on that day and scored more points. So I think we're good. I think we're good, nephew. Listen, if we meet in the playoffs, I'm going to be talking the same stuff.
What's good, nephew? Good to see you in here, man, dropping the top on us and chiming in the comments as well. Everybody that's been in here in these comments, tuning in for the first time as well, we appreciate y'all. It's great.
You can see it on Manny's face that he was not comfortable at all. You can see that on his face. But he did make some plays. When he needed to make some plays, he made some. Did he make all the plays that he needed to make? Absolutely not, because Texas lost. But there were moments where he had to make plays, and he made plays, and he extended drives. And I think that he could have had another touchdown, but Livingston dropped the one, which was really good coverage by Igminosa. He was right there on his hip, but that's still a catchable ball that you expect your wide receiver to make. If it was Smitty or if it was Carnell Tate, it would have been a touchdown. But it happened to be Parker Livingston, a dude making his first start ever. But the other catch that he made for the touchdown was a really good catch too. And the coverage there was good. So, we just got to be able to make contested catches. And I think they did a really good job of taking DeAndre Moore out of the scheme of things, even though he had a couple of open spots that Manny just didn't get the ball to him. But other than that, I think Ohio State just played a really good defense. And Manny was in an environment that he was a little shook. So, it happens like that in your first start on the road in a place like the Ohio State University, bro. It's going to happen. If it was a fifth, yeah, you're right. Y'all won the game, bro. Y'all won the game. I ain't making no excuses for anybody. Ohio State won the game.
They just want to hear it from you. They just want to hear it.
I'm cool with that. Listen, I'm more excited about us getting this loss out of the way to a really good Ohio State team on the road than I would be later on in the season. Like I told you, I didn't lose no sleep last night. And usually when Texas lose, I can't sleep. Because all through my mind, I'm thinking they should have done this, they should have done that. What if they did this? What if they did that? I didn't do any of that last night. I slept real.
Well, you know, it was partly because the game was at 12. If the game was at 7:30, you wouldn't have slept.
Maybe so. But I was still Jerry all day because two dudes named Ty and another dude named Isaiah, FanDuel came on the stream after the 3:30 game and was still hyping, still crunk, and still talking shit. So it was still fresh on my head.
Yeah, we got to see Parlay post surface because I'm waiting to get on him while he was talking about Bama going to put up 50. We was closer to 50 than Bama was. And we ain't going to speak about the 34 they struggled to get. But, you know, I'm just waiting on them to show us.
Well, but I mean, I don't think they struggled to get 34. I thought their defense struggled a little bit, but New Mexico pulled out all the bells and whistles for that game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They was running, they was in the bags of tricks the whole time. You know what I mean? And the only time Michigan really gave up things is when they hit the drawing board and drew something up for real. I thought Michigan played a great game though yesterday.
Yeah,
I thought they looked good.
I think Moore did a great job. I mean, knowing what they lost. You know, we got to look at a lot of teams too and know what they lost, whether it's going into the NFL, transfer portal, anything. And to see how they play coming into a game, you know, it's getting your feet wet. You got a big $10 million quarterback back there. So it's just a lot that you pretty much prep yourself up for. Getting 30 points in the season opener at home. That's great, you know, for that Michigan team and moving forward along with everything that people didn't talked about. And I felt that they was another team, as we saw in South Carolina, that ended the season very well last year. And as we see, as they put a whooping on Alabama in their bowl game. So with all due respect, I mean, they played an excellent game, very good coach game. And when you playing a team that you really haven't played, haven't seen, you really coming out and you doing some things that you might not frankly do. You might try an offensive set that you're not, offensive formation that you're not used to running against a team that you play on the usual. So shout out to them getting the win as well as the other teams in the Big Ten, SEC, ACC, Big 12, you know, even those that dressed up to play this weekend, man. Shout out to every young kid out there with the talent.
Hey, question for you, both of y'all. We might as well start this segment every time we do games. Game ball for yesterday. Who gets y'all's game ball?
Man, from yesterday. Game ball.
Sheesh.
Those of you in the chat, tell me who y'all think y'all will give a game ball to yesterday. Game ball.
I started off first. I already know who I'm giving my game ball to. I got to go with Rocco Beck. 19 for 20. 278 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Easily game ball for me.
I'm trying to prevent myself from being biased, yo.
Hey, if you want to give your game ball to one of your guys, give it to your guy.
You know who I'm giving my game ball to? I'm going to give my game ball to the whole Florida State University coaching staff. From top to bottom, players included. You come out and you show the world that we back. That's a lot of preparation in the off season. That's a lot of continuous effort. You know, a lot of people fail to realize that, you know, this is Florida State. You got to go. You got to put that effort through. You got to fight through the off season. You know, when you get in that game and you got to play, we was down 7-0 and to continue to fight. You know, I was going to give it to Tommy Castellanos, but I'm going to just give it to everyone, coaches included, because coming out and playing the way we played, that felt like I was watching a Mickey Andrews type of defense. And that goes to show how great of a coordinator Tony White is. So I'm giving the game ball to the whole Florida State Seminole organization.
Yeah, I'm gonna give my game ball to Castellano. I'm glad you didn't pick him, and thanks Donnell for putting that out there because I'm picking him too. Since you put it up there, The guy made a statement before the season started. And he said they don't have Saban over there to save them. And guess what happened? Saban wasn't over there to save them, and he balled out. He backed up what he talked. And he got to get my game ball. Because anytime you get somebody bulletin board material, and do you go out there and back it up, you got to get a game ball. So I'm giving my game ball to Castellano and the performance that he had yesterday. He kept Alabama guessing. He kept Alabama off balance, and he made plays when he needed to. So I'm going with Castellano for my game ball.
Man, I love it. I love it. And this, I don't know, man. I'm still feeling a little hype off that win yesterday, man. It feels good, man. And I'm gonna keep it rocking throughout the season. Every week, I'm gonna be tomahawking and going crazy, man. It's true now. After this offseason, seeing what my boys is coming to do, man. We come to get that swagger back, and it's a bounce back 25 season. I've been talking it. That's how I feel. And just be ready, Zay, because you never know. We just might be up there cooking in that playoff and coming to play against them.
Bro, you seen us, bro. We got the best defense in the country again. You seen us.
No.
Yeah, we do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, we do.
Hey,
And we should have left y'all with a bagel.
This is the best defense in the country.
We should have left y'all with a bagel.
Texas got the best defense in the country.
We
bro.
should have left y'all with a bagel.
Texas got the best defense in the country, and they showed it yesterday.
Man,
they showed it yesterday, bro. They got the best defense in the country, bro.
How many times did we miss game busters, though? Like that pass to the tight end drop. If you throw that ball to Jeremiah Smith, that would have busted the game open, bro. We know that. Maybe
it would have. Maybe it would have. But listen,
that's what I'm saying.
That Texas defense is incredible, bro. They probably got the best defense in the country.
Man, we should have left y'all with a bagel.
I'm not gonna say you should have left us with a bagel because if Arch Manning would have completed those throws he needed to complete that was open, it could have been a different game, man. Texas defense is fucking lights out, bro. Now, Ohio State's defense is right there with them. You can say 1A, 1B if you want to. 1A and 1B.
We got the
but
best
don't say you over top of the
country,
Longhorns. That defense was legit, bro.
We got the best defense in the country, bro.
You said you said 1A, 1B. Y'all made room for somebody else. I'm gonna just go ahead and say we over top of both of y'all, man. Just for the fun of it to keep it going. I just want to see
that you might be right. That touchdown could have been ruled incomplete. It could have been ruled incomplete. It could have been.
Man.
Yeah, they had to give it to y'all to make it interesting.
We'll take that. That was a very good effort by that young man to get that thing going. But I think Ohio State is going to be top 5. Texas is going to be top 5. The way we seen LSU play yesterday, they could possibly be there. Georgia could possibly be there. I'm sure Michigan will do some things and probably be there. It's going to be a lot of good defenses, man. But I'm not taking anything away from my Longhorns because that defense is legit.
Yeah, I got to see this Notre Dame defense.
Yeah, I got to see
that. I want to see the secondary tonight. And that's one of the reasons I have them winning, that secondary, man. Like, they return a nice amount in that secondary. I mean, Notre Dame, if you think about it, they've been getting pick sixes the last few years, and even in big games. So that's something I'm going to be looking forward to, see who could possibly get a pick six today if it happens, just to see how they play and see what Jeremiah Love looking like. If he come out and he got that Adrian Peterson look, man, it could be trouble, man. That boy can go. And he's 100% healthy. We gotta not forget that, man. So he's gonna be a load for Miami, I think, tonight. Shout out to KT and his Hurricanes, man. But I gotta go against y'all tonight. Sorry, boss.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
You know what? I hear you, nephew. I hear you saying Texas got a couple of more losses coming. But I'm telling you right now, if that defense holds anybody else on their schedule to 14 points, they are not losing.
No.
They are not losing.
You have to remember this was week 1.
I understand it's week 1, bro. But
it's kinks that you got to work out, you know?
Listen, Texas, they're going to be – if that defense holds anybody else on this schedule to 14 points, bro. They are not losing another game. They're not losing another game. Because we had opportunity to score more than 14 points in this game against Ohio State. We made it to the red zone twice and didn't get any points out of it. And we only allow Ohio State to get in the red zone one time.
What does that tell you about that defense? Y'all had field position the whole game.
Yeah, we did. Ohio State's defense is good. I'm not taking nothing away from them. It's one of the best in the country. I'm just not going to put them over top of us just to say they're better than us. Hell no, I'm not saying that because I think they both are even. If Texas ain't better.
You funny, man.
Gotta give them boys credit. One red zone on the road in the shoe.
They
Gotta
had
give
field
that defense
position.
credit.
They had field position the whole game, bro.
Position
The
for
whole
me.
game. Hey,
Not the
it
whole
was
game. Couple of times we had to start with some bad field position too. We had 2 drives where we had to start inside our 15.
you talking about 2 drives out of the whole game. That's the whole game. We talk about the whole game. Y'all had field position.
We
2
did
drives
have
is-
field position. The
Man,
majority
y'all
of the time
had-
we had field position. That is
For,
true.
for us to turn out 14 points with the type of field position we played against one of the best defenses in the country, it was amazing. It was beautiful.
I like it.
I agree. That's something you should hang your hat on because they did what they needed to do to win that game. And I had talked to Ohio State. They did it without having to show a whole lot. So that's a really good thing.
We
for
was
them.
very vanilla.
I like
Very
the way
vanilla.
I like the way Donaldson ran the ball too. That
I
one
did
drive,
too.
I think when y'all got that first touchdown, like, and they mentioned about how he went through his weight loss, the regimen. I was like, man, that's that OSU program, man. They get them boys there, they get them right, and for him to produce the way he did, they fed him like 3 straight times, and I'm like, why is Texas, on the opposite side not doing this? So I can't say that Ohio State offense, even though you didn't see the big fireworks like you see from Smitty or Carnell Tate, just to see how elite it can be when it gets going. That's something to look at throughout the season. And I think Texas is just a team that, they play good against Smith. And we can't not that he's not a talent. The opportunities was there. I think that'll be something that we see throughout the season. He's not going to shy away from just letting the ball go and knowing that's Smitty from Obach Foe out there. You got to let that ball go in those times. But outside of that, definitely like what I've seen at Ohio State, especially that tight end.
I got full trust in Ryan Day to keep on progressing this young man. He's going to be fine.
Yeah, I think he's going to be fine as well.
Yeah.
I do want to see how he handles his first serious road test. That'll really tell me a lot about him. But outside of that, I think he's ready for it. I think
Ready
he
for the
played really,
spotlight.
really well yesterday.
Yeah.
Really well.
I think they made the right choice at putting him as starter because I think when you looked at nerves, I seen no nerves out of him throughout the whole time. And I think he threw a sidearm, and I'm like this, he can spin that ball. He got an arm on him. Like, he could get rid of it fast, quick. And I just can't wait to see him actually let his feet go or run the ball that they say he got that excellent skill to do. So I'm just locked in and loaded for the great college football season that we've seen so far in these week 0, week 1, and continued out season that we're going to have this year as well.
Yeah, for sure. Donnell saying the running backs run a little bit too high for him, and that might be a problem. I think those guys are going to be okay too. Once they played against a really good Texas defense, but I think they're going to be okay because they can still move the chains with their run game with those 2 backs with Peoples and the other guy from West Virginia. What's his name again? Number 12.
CJ Donaldson.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my favorite running backs of all time ran high to me, Adrian Peterson. So, a running back's running style is a running back's running style,
Watch that tape again. Like, watch Donaldson's highlights, Jay. I'm glad you mentioned that name. Just look at his stature and how, look at him last year and then look at him this year, how he dropped his weight, and tell me if he don't look like him just when he's staring. big back.
I mean, he a big back. I think naturally most of the big backs run high. Like Derrick
Yeah.
Henry runs high. You know what I'm saying? Naturally, they're just big.
And he got some
Yeah.
quick feet too.
But I wasn't impressed with James Peoples. I'll say that right now. Man, well, we're gonna see. Bo Jackson gonna hit that field in the next 3 games. We're gonna see will he get off and shimmying off. But I wouldn't be surprised if Bo Jackson was able to make a move in this room.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, everybody out there, man, that's all we got for today. Hopefully you can tune in again with us. We might do something tomorrow since tomorrow is Labor Day and we're off work. Maybe we might be able to jump on tomorrow morning. I know I got some yard work to do, but outside of that, we might be able to do something tomorrow. So we'll talk in the chat, and if we do set something up, we'll post it either on Facebook or just look out for a notification on your YouTube page if we go live tomorrow. We might even go live later on today for the 2 matchups that we got with Virginia Tech and South Carolina and Notre Dame at Miami. We might go live after those 2 games as well. Just stay tuned. Keep your YouTube notifications on. Make sure that you subscribe to all of our channels scrolling across the bottom. You see us. We got Mossberg at Level Up Sports 10. We got our man FanDuel Zaya at FanDuel Zaya. We also got our man Parlay Poe's Blitzburg Podcast at Parlay Poe. We got our man Postgame 86 Podcast scrolling across the bottom for our man Postgame. And then this is WTP Sports Dudes right here. And then you got at City League TV, our man T1, who goes around recording all of the City League games live. So you can, not all of them, the games that he go to, you can see live on YouTube or on Facebook. So check in with him too as well. Subscribe to his channel. And we'll see y'all either later on today, tomorrow, definitely Tuesday by 7:45.
For sure, for sure.
That's all we got. Thank you for tuning in. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thanks for being in the chat. We out.
Peace.
Peace.
There we go.